I'm here to rescue you, aren't I? I don't get a thank you? No, I'm sorry for leaving you in the creepy nightmare house alone. I mean, what exactly is the problem here?
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Time Addicts, and this 2023 film was directed by Sam Odlum and stars Freya Tingley, Charles Grounds, and Joshua Morton, among others, of course. The story of this movie is that there's these two addicts, and they are looking for their next hits, but unfortunately, they've kind of run afoul with their drug dealer, I think with just money issues, so they agreed to do a job to get some money from him. And then, of course, buy rocks in return. And the job is a B&E, so they have to break and enter into this house across town. So they go over there, they break in, they enter, and then they find out that it's like a crack house. So there's like a table with a bunch of crack on it. And so they smoke some of that, but it turns out that this crack is time-traveling crack. And so they are now traveling through time whenever they smoke this stuff. Or snort it, it depends on how they do it. So now they're stuck in this time loop thing that they've kind of made for themselves. And it's all quite interesting, actually. But will they be able to smoke themselves out of this situation? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, with this one, I gotta say, I was really pleasantly surprised with how much fun I was having throughout the whole thing. It is time-traveling crack addicts who are smoking time crack or whatever they want to call it. I don't think they actually give it like a specific name other than, just the drug. And I don't know, it was so much fun just going through it, and it seems like it's all kind of really well thought out. Like the storyline kind of loops back to itself, and they meet themselves sometimes, and that's interesting how that all kind of works out. And the way it's presented to you is kind of chronologically the way that you travel through the story with the character. And so you get to see the whole progression of everything, even if you're not privy to all the information all the time. And it all really kind of works well. I really do like time travel stories, but they do get very messy and very stupid sometimes. This one, smoking these drugs to do the time travel, is very silly, is very weird. This one is an Australian movie, and I think it's done in such a way that really only the Australians can. And it really does kind of all work together. The story does kind of remind me of another story called All You Zombies by Heinlein. And it's been turned into a movie, I think, as well. But if you know that story, you kind of know the problems with time travel already. So it's something kind of similar to that. Not really, though. Don't worry, I'm not going to give any of the surprises away. And there is actually like quite a few surprises in this one that I was really happy about. And so it is a time traveling story with these, two time traveling crack addicts. But it works. I'm really surprised how well it all kind of fits together. And so, yeah, this one, delightful watch, I would say. Even if the crack aspect is not, the best thing to, be shown to other people, but fits together even if it doesn't totally make sense all the time. By the end, you're like, oh man, like that was this layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer. And it's just, crack smoking time travelers. What else could you expect? So it's really interesting and, like I said, a delightful little watch. In addition, I did enjoy that it's kind of this one location time travel story. Like they're just traveling with inside this crack house. And I don't know why, but it certainly does work. It's really cool that way. And they travel to like before it was a crack house too, like 1995, and meet the woman who's living there. Then they travel 2053 or something, and so they meet the person in the post-apocalyptic world there, and it's all just kind of crazy nonsense when it comes down to it. But I don't know what's with this one, but I think sci-fi fans and time travel fans will really kind of appreciate this one on kind of a different level than just a regular audience. So yeah, check this one out. I thought it was pretty good. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this one. Well, of course it's got its issues, especially with any time traveling one. With this one, like I said, it's like All You Zombies, so it has kind of that same problem. I'm not going to discuss the problem to, let you discover it yourself. But it's wacky that way. I think if you are, really kind of taking it too serious, I think you won't enjoy it. It does come with the territory of the subject matter as well. Like they're just smoking crack all the time or snorting it if they don't have a pipe. And that seems to do the trick for them. And so the subject matter is kind of intense as well. Like this is not like your mother's time travel one, especially with all the drug use. And that also goes with the profanity as well. They're swearing up and down. Every sentence is, an F-bomb here, F-bomb there. And so it's, what it is, it's extreme that way, but I don't know, it has that attraction for me where I did really enjoy it. Oddly enough, because of everything that goes into it. I did think with the actors, it's from Australia and it's done in such a way that really kind of the only Australians can do. And so they just kind of poke fun at the subject matter and it works. It surprisingly works. I don't know where this is. Maybe it's in Wollongong or something like that. The guy's accent, I couldn't really place it. I'm not Australian, but I couldn't really place it. It doesn't sound like a typical Australian accent, especially with his dictation. And so overall, it's this weird, wacky movie that certainly has problems, especially with that subject matter. I know a lot of people who are just be like, I don't want to watch people smoke crack, so I'm not going to. But with this one, they do it fine. Like it's an interesting thing, especially if you're into time travel. I would say it's probably worth a watch. Let's see, anything else? I think there's a few other problems. Like I'm watching these things at night, so I don't have the problem of glare on my television. But if you are watching it during the day, just know it's a very kind of dark movie. Like it happens all in this one house and all the curtains are pulled down. And so it's quite dark and kind of gloomy on the inside, but that's, the nature of the house itself. There is also a moment I found very strange. Like one person like smashes up a CD or a DVD or something and then snorts the crystals there. And it's just like, that doesn't work. Or at least I'm not aware of that working. But it does. And then the person time travels because of it. And I'm like, what? How did that work? So it certainly has its issues. I think with this movie, it's not going to be for everyone. But, for someone like me, I enjoyed it. What else can I tell you? I enjoyed it overall. As for my recommendation, well, I think time travel fans will, of course, enjoy this one. Sci-fi fans will enjoy kind of the complexities of the time travel narrative itself. And it's done in such a way where it's presented very understandably to the audience, so that's also good. So if that sounds like something you want to watch, then yeah, press play on this one. As for a rating, well, I thought it was good, so I'm going to give it the score of 7. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.